when it comes to the holidays, because if Mexican families, raza, and all of us, when it comes to our holidays, man, always, man, we gotta have that food ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, listen real close, because one of the things you gotta understand that Mexicans, man, Salakia, let me go, Salakia. You gotta understand that one thing about Hispanics, man, we celebrate holidays, we celebrate festivals, we celebrate all these days. And I'm gonna let you in a little secret with the raza. We don't really celebrate because of the holidays. We celebrate because it gives us the opportunity to get together and drink and party and have music and get everybody together. That's really what we look forward to. Like, if you ever been to a Mexican party, like, we're gonna celebrate the birth of one of our kids. My wife gave birth. She already had the baby and everything. And we're inviting everybody to come down, and right along with it, we got all the beer, all the alcohol, the carne asada. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way we celebrate. Like, we're not really celebrating for them. We're celebrating kind of like for us. Like, we're gonna celebrate. Like, we come back from. It was common right here at the house that we come back from camp, and boy, carne asada. You know what I'm saying? The beer, the liquor, because we gotta celebrate. Like, us Mexicans, we gotta find a reason to celebrate. That's really what it is. We have to find a reason to celebrate. And I'm gonna tell you something. I understand a lot of my Hispanic brothers and sisters when it comes to especially the brothers, man, when it comes to the 4th of July and Memorial Day, man, they're like, man, this is the opportunity for us to get together and just have a party. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what Hispanic people do. Like, we're just looking for a reason. We're looking for a reason. Give us an excuse to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're always looking for. We're looking for an excuse to celebrate. And what better excuse than holidays? So we celebrate the American holidays. We celebrate the Mexican holidays. We celebrate the goddamn Chinese holidays. We celebrate every holiday that comes around. We're like, what? Okay, an opportunity to celebrate. Hell yeah, we're gonna do it. And so that's really what we do. We just try to find a reason why. You know what I'm saying? But with that, what we don't understand is sometimes ignorantly we're celebrating a wicked days. Right. We're celebrating days that we shouldn't be celebrating. What do you think about that, Malagma?
I mean, I just want to say this, sir. Of course, we were all in the world, right? Like, we all like celebrated Thanksgiving, Christmas, all those holidays, because we thought it was time to get together with the family. We thought, okay, it's a day off from the slavery. It's a time for us to get together, and from what you watch on movies, when it's a happy time together, all love and joy, blah 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 blah, all that mumbo jumbo. But here's the reality, man. Those holidays have a horrible history behind them, have a messed up, twisted, truth to it, and it's usually something to do with us in a negative way. Thanksgiving, for example, man. Thanksgiving is a holiday that celebrates the robbing, raping, and murdering of our indigenous ancestors. And we are so destroyed. Our spirit is so beaten down in this place that we lie to ourselves and celebrate these holidays and say that it's for the kids. It's for the family. You know what I mean? When in reality, what you're really celebrating is America stealing the land from our ancestors. You got to think about it like this, man. You never see the Japanese celebrating August 6th. Yeah, I mean, shit, they don't have no feast day and get together and party on that day. You never see the Jewish man celebrating the Holocaust. Let me make it more, more current. You never see hardcore patriotic Americans ever celebrating and having a dinner on 9/11.
Right.
They never commemorate, celebrate 9/11, get together and say, oh, yeah, yeah, that was the day a terrorist attack, killed my relatives in those Twin Towers. But, we celebrate it because we get together as a family.
Right.
Can you imagine the outrage of that? But us, we will celebrate Thanksgiving and say that it's for the family. It's for the kids. Man, that's how destroyed we have been made, man. That's how messed up in the head we have been made by the Christian church.
Right.
And by America. So, man, we got to wake up, man. That now is the time to wake out of sleep and realize what this holiday really is, man. Nobody's saying you can't get together with your family. Nobody's saying that you can't have a nice dinner and get together, man. But why are you doing it on the day that's commemorated and murdering and oppressing your ancestors? Why is that the only day that you could do it on? You got to think about that, brown man and black man. It's done on the days that represent your demise.
Right.
That's why we say that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, because they purposely give you the day off on that day so that you'll go celebrate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me tell you something. That's the truth, man. La raza mexicana, los chicanos, all of us, we always try to find a reason to celebrate our holidays. You know, we always want to be part of some celebration without the understanding that some of the holidays that we're celebrating have been the demise and the destruction of our own people. So it leaves us in a state of midway. Do we really want to celebrate these things because we understand what they're about? Or do we just want to ignore the fact and go ahead and celebrate them anyways? And this is the result. If you continue to celebrate these holidays, then you're teaching your children to continue that tradition of celebrating the holidays. So what do you have to do? What do you got to compromise by saying, you know what? Okay, let's celebrate the holiday. Let's have the Thanksgiving. Let's have the 4th of July. Let's have Christmas. Let's have all these days. And in reality, what you're doing is you're teaching your kids to celebrate the wicked holidays, the holidays that, you know, that murdered, robbed, and raped, that you know, commemorate the robbing, raping, and murdering of your people. Or are you going to be the type of person that'll be like, wait a minute, let's stand back for a minute and let's take a good look at what these holidays really signify, what they really mean. And now we have two choices. We're either going to teach our children the reality of what they are, or we're going to ignore the fact and celebrate with them. If we celebrate Christmas, we're telling our children, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter what the Bible says. What matters is what American tradition says. If we celebrate Thanksgiving, we're going to say, man, it doesn't matter what happened to our Native American Indian brothers and sisters. What matters is the traditions of America. If we celebrate the 4th of July, we're going to be like, it doesn't matter what happened to our Black brothers and sisters.
Right.
What matters is celebrating the 4th of July, the traditions of America. And here what's happening is that we're choosing to grab a hold of American traditions and make them our own, even though they're not our own. And what's at stake? Well, what's at stake is, first of all, we understand how racist America is towards Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, and that we celebrate days that go against us. Why do they go against us? Because just to begin with, you're dealing with people that have hated you, man, that are racist against you, that go on and on and on every century, man. I don't care what century you want to talk about. I can name every single era where we've been destroyed, robbed, raped, murdered, right. our properties taken away through right. What is that? Gentrification, right? The teaching of our children in the schools, the lies of being taught, you know, Christopher Columbus, you know, the missions, the Catholic Church, the Christianity. So where do we stand? Do we stand as people who will bow down to what I'm going to say, unrighteousness? Are we going to bow down to lies? Are we going to bow down to the traditions of nations that hate us? Do we continue doing that? Or is there a point where we decide and say, you know what? I'm not going to allow my children to continue, because you got to remember, your parents, the reason why you celebrate, the reason why you do these things is because your parents chose not to make that move. Right. Your parents chose not to take a stand, not to say, hey, wait a minute, let me tell you the reality of it, not to study. You know what? And think about it. Man, if you grew up in a household like mine, man, I used to get in trouble for not doing my goddamn homework. Like, I'd be in a mess because I used to ditch. I'd go to the ditching parties. Man, I failed my history classes. I failed my math classes. I was like a mess at school, bro. Like, you know, well, history, I'm going to say it different, but all the other classes, I didn't give a damn about no science. Like, come on, bro. They put me in cooking class. Like, do I give a damn about cooking? Yeah, Mexican food, but not anything else. Right. I wasn't trying to make pies and shit like that. You know what I mean? But in a whole, I didn't care about any of those things. But you got home, and oh man, you were grounded. Man. Well, I said grounded, but that's not true because I didn't get grounded. I get my ass whooped. You know what I mean? So there was no grounding. Yeah, the chancla. I didn't get no grounding. That was not your grounded for a month. Hell no. You got home. They saw the report card. You get your ass whooped. Como que la report card, cabrón. Okay, so there you go. So so now you got to think about it. But your parents were so strict with everything. But did your parents ever take the moment to really look at history and really look at what they were teaching you and really take a moment to say, hey, wait a minute. You know what? Let me tell you something. What's going on here at your schools are a bunch of lies. What they're teaching in history class, it's not really true. What they're really putting you guys through is lies through history. Did your parents ever do that? No, not at all. Your parents chose to only get mad at you. How could I say it? Man, through just, I'm gonna say just because they had to. Because they had to say something because you were failing in school. Because, you were dumb. No quieres aprender. You didn't want to learn.
Right.
What the hell, bro? You're not paying attention in school. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Okay, so, but now our generation is a little different because, like me, I pay attention. My kids come back from school and they talk about history. And I'm like, let me tell you about history. My kids come back from school and they're like, you know what, they're talking about, some religious thing. Well, let me tell you about religion. And let me tell you about, the reality. So we're living at the appointed time where we are the parents that have now really looked at history, really looked at religion, really looked at the moral ways of our people. And we have made a choice to this time break the chain of ignorance that has been passed down through man. How many generations? Your great grandma, your grandma, your great 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 grandma. You know what I'm saying? And how about us? Are we going to continue that tradition of ignorance? Well, hell no. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're about to step up the game in our time, and we're about to teach our children the true reality of humans, man, of human nature, of America, of everything in general. We're about to stand up and make a difference on what our children are taught. And with that, now you have a problem that when they go back to school, they're going to go back with a whole different mentality. And they're going to be like, well, you know what? My pop said that's a lie.
Right.
My pop said that those missions, they weren't really some religious great place to teach our people how to grow up right. On the contrary, what they were teaching was the destruction of our people. So now what do we got to do? So now what we got to do is we got to really put ourselves in a position where we're at the appointed time of what's known in the Bible as the falling away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're at the appointed time of what's known as the falling away. If you don't know what the falling away is, well, let me get it out real quick. You got that? I'm gonna bring out that scripture.
Okay.
Or we can go ahead right into it. Let's go right into the falling away, which I know is in the book of Thessalonians, right? But let's go into the chapter, which is chapter 2, 1 through 3, right? Because what's going to happen here is that we got to understand, and we'll go straight to 3, right? Or let's go to 2. Because what's going to happen here is we got to realize that we are the ones that are going to teach our children the falling away. We're the reason why there's going to be a falling away. Like everyone watching the show, my carnal, Joseph, Israel, and everybody out here, who else? Halak, Shalom Halak, Yakazala, oh man, Yakazala, Freddie Jones, Laura Cruz, all of us on this thread, everybody else jumping in. We're going to set the standard for the falling away. We're going to set the standard for the falling away. And what's coming with the falling away is the 144,000.
Right.
So if you can fall away from the traditions of America, then you're almost like understanding that you have the potential of the 144,000. You know what I'm saying? Barak ya Allah, Shalom ya Bashim Yashab Barakatah. So all of us who today teach our children to fall away, man, we're in line for the 144,000. That's for sure. That's us right there. Because we're teaching our children how to pull away from religion. We're teaching our children how to pull away from this fake history. We're teaching our children how to come back to moral code, keep the law, statutes, and commandments, follow the Most High, and most importantly of all, begin to work on this brotherhood between Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Man, that's got to be the most important thing in anybody's life, because we haven't seen that for over 500 years. And I'll tell you 500 years because I think it's over 550 years for the Latinos, for the Hispanics, for the Native American Indians, for the Puerto Ricans, for the Arawak, right? Over 500 years, because remember, we came into captivity first before our Judite brothers, right? We were the first ones to be put into this mess with the transatlantic slave trade. So first came us, and then came our brothers. And so it's over 550 years for us, the Hispanics, Arawak Indian, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubanos, and all of us. And then, of course, Judah came in right afterwards and went through the same thing that they did. So let's go ahead and read into Thessalonians 2, and let's start with 3. Go ahead, Malakman.
Khan. The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Okay, so let no man deceive you. Man, we've been deceived for over 500 years. We've been deceived, our Judite brothers, for over 400 years.
Right.
We've been deceived by the lies, by the history, by all these deceptions that the white man has put on us.
Right.
And I'm going to say that the white man has put on us because it's a whitewashed history. Isn't that the right word? Whitewashed. Right. It's been whitewashed. And what is whitewashed? Well, of course, it's their version of history. And what have we been doing? We've been sitting at the table, cutting the turkey, eating the goddamn ham, right? Celebrating their holidays, fireworks, and all these days that are their days. They're whitewashed days. Those are whitewashed holidays.
Right.
And we've been participating in them as Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We've been participating in their holidays, not knowing that that's exactly what they are. Just the way the image of Jesus Christ has been whitewashed, so has our history. So has the holidays. So has every other tradition that America has to offer to us. Ain't that right, Malak?
Concert.
So what do we have to do? Our job, our duty in this truth is, man, to break that chain of lies. Man, we're going to rewrite history. The way they rewrote history, so will we. We have to rewrite history. And we're not going to rewrite history. All we're going to do is bring out the real history. Because they had to rewrite it. We're not going to rewrite it. What we're going to do is we're going to tell the truth about this history. Well, what are we going to go into? The Native American Indians? Man, we got so much to talk about the Native American Indians.
Right.
Like the history of the Native American Indians, brother, man, I'm going to tell you something, man. The Caucasian man, if he was honest, right?
Right.
Tomorrow at that table, because isn't tomorrow Thanksgiving? Tomorrow at that table, what they should be doing is telling the truth. But the white man is a liar. He'll lie.
It's a liar, sir. If I could, this is what I'll say. If Thanksgiving was really what it was, you would see oppressors emptying out their bank accounts, going to the reservations, going to the barrios, and giving every First Nations, people all that money, all the rich, all their family wealth. They'd be giving it back to their people. They'd be packing up all their stuff, getting ready to leave America and go back to Europe. Go back to the caves where they came from, man. But they ain't doing that because they're not really about Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Man. That's what I'll say, sir.
You have to understand that these people have no compassion for us.
Right.
And for you to be celebrating that holiday with them tomorrow is that you also have no compassion for your own people. Like, why would you celebrate the death of your brother or your mom or your dad? Why would you make a big celebration and have turkey and have everything if that's not, if that's not in line for you celebrating with your brother? Wouldn't you mourn for your brother?
Right. That's what I was going to
Yeah, wouldn't you mourn for your brother? Wouldn't you be like, man, this is a day that, you know what, I'm going to set aside to mourn for my brother, you know, because of what happened to him. Right. Especially if history still holds the atrocities committed to him. Right. And you know what? Your brother got shot. Oh, man, my brother got shot. But how about the brothers that the police pull over and beat the hell out of them? Right. And leave them almost unrecognizable.
So like, if I could I just add this real quick? Because you just brought what you brought out was pretty heavy. All right. Yeah. To say you had a brother, man, and he got murdered, you would never get together with his murderer and celebrate the day he was murdered together. You would never get together with that person and go out and go have a drink together. I mean, I don't know, man. Salaki, in today's time, man, we seen what happened with Bachman Jean's brother, man, where he went and hugged that Edomite. But you know what I'm saying? The point is this, man. You would never go, if somebody murdered your brother in cold blood, you would never go celebrate the day your brother got killed and celebrate with the person who murdered. Well, that's exactly what you're doing when you celebrate Thanksgiving, man. You are celebrating with the murder of your people, man. You are celebrating on the day that they killed, robbed, raped, and murdered your people, man. You celebrating with them. So that's, man, that's the reality of it. That you got to take off, you know, how Command General, how to bring it out. You got to unplug yourself from the matrix, man.
Absolutely.
Because you live in a lie. You've been given a fairy tale about what these days really are, when they really represent blood of our ancestors spilled.
Absolutely. And let me tell you something. For each one of us, Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, man, this is an important day to reflect on how we really are not part of America. Right. For instance, the Native American Indian could not celebrate Thanksgiving. Right. You know why? Because it's the day of his rob, rape, murder, the days of his atrocities. Those days are the days that, you know, he helped the white man, and in return, the white man gave him reservations, poison rations, chicken pox, blankets with chicken pox, stale water, poison. You know what I'm saying? Dust, man. You know what I'm saying? These are the days that they gave him these things. This is the Native American Indian over everybody, man. But I'm going to go in deeper. The Native American Indian definitely would not celebrate Thanksgiving. Right. You know what I mean? But how about our Judite brothers? How about our Moreno brothers? And you know, a lot of people use black brothers, but I'll use the word Moreno because it's a famous word that we use in Mexico. Actually, isn't your name Moreno? Moreno, right? Isn't that it?
Okay.
Moreno, which means dark skin. That's the word that we use. I've always known that word as Moreno. So my brothers, los Morenos, think about it. You're celebrating Thanksgiving, but in the days of slavery, which was already, Thanksgiving was already being celebrated then. Right. You know, do you think that the white man invited the black slaves into the goddamn house to sit around the table and eat with them? Hell no. Right. No way, man. Think about it real well, man. Do you think that on the day of Thanksgiving on the plantation, right? Right. Do you think that the slave owner would go out and say, oh, all the slaves, come inside. Let's all get together and have a big feast. Let's all eat together. Hell no. Right. You would never admit it. The only way the black man was admitted or the Moreno was admitted into the plantation house was if he was serving the food.
Good night.
If you were cleaning, serving the food, if you were a servant, but that would be called a house nigga. Right. Right? That's what you would have been, the house nigga. That's the only ones that were inside of that place. You know, that's the truth. So you're celebrating Thanksgiving today as a Moreno, as a black man, for to say, but man, you should remember that during the time of slavery, they were already celebrating Thanksgiving. Right. And you were not admitted onto that table. You had no part in their Thanksgiving. You wanted so bad to celebrate Thanksgiving that you decided to celebrate Thanksgiving outside. Right. In your own little way. Eating pork, right? Because that's what they gave you.
Chittering.
So you didn't celebrate no Thanksgiving. You couldn't. And Halak says the Django movie. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I do remember seeing a piece in that. They're celebrating, but you ain't celebrating with them. You got to remember that. You have to remember that. You know what you have to do? You have to tell this story to your kids. That's what you should do. You should sit around the table and tell the stories that we're telling today. Tell them how the Native American Indian was destroyed for supplying the Caucasian man with how to get through the winters, how to save themselves, how to be able to live through winters and prosper in the summer and the spring. And in return, they gave him death. You know what I'm saying? Should tell them how the black man was on the plantation and they were celebrating Thanksgiving and you were not admitted on that table or even in the goddamn house. And how about Mexicans? Man, Mexican, you know, at least the black man lived on the plantation. You weren't even allowed close to that place. You were not allowed even a bit there. They saw you as less than that. There were signs that said, what, no dogs and no Mexicans.
So lie, sir, if I could. My Ardasa was being hung on trees for being too uppity.
Absolutely. You were being hung on a tree for even looking at the goddamn turkey. And let me go even deeper than that. Something you should know that the Mayans, right, and the Aztecs or the Toltecs, to us, the turkey was a sacred bird known as el pavo. Right. And it was a sacred bird to us. Today, still, they find paintings on the Mayan walls and on artifacts of the turkey itself, because the turkey was a sacred animal to our people. It was given to the kings on high holy days in a plate called mole. Right. I know you've heard of mole.
Mole.
Right? And the original way mole was served was with turkey, wasn't chicken, because chickens were grown, you know, in everybody's homes. Okay. But the turkey was a wild animal. Right. And it was a special animal. And so our people took that turkey as a high prize and gave it to the kings in a plate called mole, which was made, you know, man, it takes a lot of ingredients to make. Mole is not just, you know, a real quick plate. No way, man. My wife makes mole from scratch. Right. She's got to buy chocolate. She's got to buy pepper seeds. She's got to buy bread bolillo. She's got to buy, what else? Man, it's all kinds of ingredients that she has to cook over a stove and cook everything and then put in a blender and blend it all. And remember, the Aztecs didn't have blenders, so they had to do it on a molcajete by hand. Right. By hand. So this was a special plate for our people, given to kings. And that's where the turkey came from. And how close are we related to the Native American Indian? That we knew the turkey was sacred, and so did the Native American Indian. That they used it as a peace offering with the white man and sat at a table, so the story goes, and shared that turkey with them in honor of the friendship that supposedly they had made. Because that's the story the white man tells, right?
Right. That's a lie if I could. That's a mockery right there.
Absolutely.
That's what the oppressor thinks of our people, man. They think we're a joke. That's why they made Thanksgiving a national holiday, man. To make it worldwide a national thing, to make a joke and a mockery of our people, man.
Absolutely.
And we're so blinded and been dumbed down by that Christian church that we really think, that back then pilgrims and indigenous people got together in a kumbaya circle and had turkey together. Man. Like, come on, man.
Well, how ridiculous. Another thing that was sacred to our people, to the Hispanics, to the Mayans, to the Native American Indian, was corn. Corn is a sacred food for us. And yet, every Thanksgiving, what do they got? Turkey, they got corn, they got, all these foods that obviously came from our people. Right. Because I goddamn know well that the white man never ate like that in his whole entire life. Right. I'll bet you that when the goddamn pilgrims got to that table, the Native American Indian had that laid out sweet with vegetables and fruits and meat and things they've never, man. Now, I know for a fact, right, from a history book that I read, that the Spaniards ate pork only. they had a special plate called puerco salado, salted pig.
Right.
And I've said this before, and this is written by one of the conquistadores himself, who wrote a log about his trip from Spain to the Americas. And in that book, he wrote how they bring pig from Extremadura, Spain. And the reason they bring pig is because it was the only animal that would survive the 1.5-year trip that they had to take from Spain to the Americas. And what they would do is when a pig died, they'd salt the pig.
Right.
The reason why you salt the pig is because it preserves the meat.
Right.
And they would eat raw pig.
That's
you know what I'm saying? You ever hear? I know we've all eaten that. I mean, I've tried them. Pig's feet in vinegar.
No, I haven't tried that.
I remember when I was younger. Oh man, my pops loved pig's feet in vinegar.
Man, I remember seeing it.
Yeah, pig's feet in vinegar. And what does vinegar do? It preserves the pig.
Yeah, good night.
Like I know that vinegar that you don't even have to freeze it or put it in the fridge.
Night.
Just in cold weather, that will preserve it for a long time. And that's what they eat. They eat pig because Extremadura, Spain, is where most of the conquistadores came from. And if you do the research, if you look for Extremadura, Spain, you'll realize that is where Christopher Columbus came from, Cortez came from, Pizarro came from. All the conquistadores came from this certain area, which was a ghetto in Spain, the lowest part of Spain, and the #1 export from Extremadura was pig.
Come on, sir.
And that's why they sailed and bring pig with them, because they could eat that. And you know what they fed the pig? Well, when a man would die, they'd feed him a man.
Good night.
When another pig would die, the pigs would eat the pig, because that's what keeps them alive. The pig will eat anything. The pig will eat the bone. The pig will eat the eyes. The pig will eat the teeth. The pigs eat the whole thing. They leave nothing, even the goddamn fingernails.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? They eat the whole thing. And this is a fact. I'm not, man, look it up.
Right.
Look up Extremadura, Spain. Look up the pig. Look up what he eats. Look up where the Spaniards, all the conquistadores came from. Man, I'm a historian. I'm telling you this because I know it. You know what I'm saying? And so what happened is when they got to, and this is, this is the story that the white man says, is that what they had a big feast with the native Indian and a table with all the trimmings, because that's what they call it, right? The trimmings. All the trimmings, all the corn, the turkey, right? And all the chitlings and everything they could put on that table they had. The white man had never seen food like that before.
Oh, God, sir.
You got to remember, the Mexican people, the Aztecs, the Mayans, we were agricultural people.
Right.
To this day, we are agricultural people.
Right.
We know how to grow anything. Damn, we grow weed, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? What the hell?
You always you always bring it out.
The
hydroponics, right?
Hydroponics.
That comes from the Aztecs and shit, right? So
the Aztecs used to grow hydroponic corn. They plant corn inside of a lake, and they would grow corn out of the lake, because they knew exactly what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, our people, man, we are, and that takes me back to if you go into Genesis, right? And Adam, what did the Lord give Adam? He gave the land for him to till. Right. You know what I'm saying? He told Adam, I'm going to give you the land. You're going to learn how to till the land. You know what I'm saying? And he taught how to work the land. What did Abel and Cain do? Well, what was it? Cain, who got all the fruit. He knew how to work the land. He knew how to grow everything off the land. Damn, the Africans, they got so much land and they're goddamn starving. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on there?
Not to sidebar too much. That's a cut for people that want to say, the southern, what is the northern kingdom, us so-called Hispanics aren't Israelites, man.
Absolutely.
Y'all try to say that they over there in Africa, and look at what's going on over there, man.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. Our people know how to work the land. Right. That's Mexicans. And our Native American Indian brothers, the same. Right. They know how to work the land. We can work the land like no one else can. That's why, to this day, Who's in the fields in Watsonville?
Right.
In Salinas, in Oregon.
Right.
Who's in the fields out there? Who's the one picking the fruit? Who's the one picking the berries? Who's the one in the restaurants?
Right.
Who's the one prepping food for you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What is the best food out there? Mexican. You know what? It was a famous he's a chef that was on TV. He's dead already, right?
Oh, man.
He's dead already, but he was like a French chef or something like that. I'm trying to think of his name. I can't think of his name, but he himself said, man, he said that, man, Mexicans, every restaurant he's ever worked at, and this is a chef, he had a TV show and everything. He said, man, everywhere he worked, man, Mexicans were always there.
Right.
He said that a restaurant was not a restaurant without Mexicans, man.
Right.
He said that without us, man, it would not be the same.
So, like, if I could, I mean, in the world right now, I don't step foot in them anymore. But if you ever wonder why, when you would go to a Chinese restaurant, you would see who's cooking the food. It's Mexicans. It's not Chinos up in there making that food.
Not at all, man. It's always the Mexicans that you'll find everywhere. You know why? Because, man, the Lord gave us that blessing. The Lord gave us the blessing for that. I'm going to tell you something. We all have a blessing. Man, Judah was blessed with being able to reign as kings. Judah was blessed with the reigning, man. I mean, it is what it is. He was blessed with being able to reign over Israel. Right. King David, Solomon, right? Christ himself. Right. You know what I'm saying? You go down the line, you'll see that Judah has always had that blessing. You know what I mean? Right. Us, man, we have the blessing of being able to build. We're builders, man. Right. We know how to build. We know architecture. We know, the food, how to till the land. That's us, man. To this day, we still the same. You know what I mean? Nothing has changed. It's the spirit in us that has remained throughout every generation. We die and we travel in time. How do we travel in time? Your spirit's going to come back in certain generations. Right. Through time, you're going to come back. And you keep coming back. And you keep coming back with that same power, that same spirit. You know what I'm saying? If you were wicked back then, you goddamn wicked today.
Sir.
And it's our duty to call our brothers to get out of that wickedness. Right. And you know what? Change the way you are. So when we see what's happening with Thanksgiving, when we see what's happening with Christmas and all that, we really got to think about, what can we do to change a generation? Right. Because obviously, man, and I know all of us who are in the truth, all of us who watch this program, the Inconvenient Truth, all of us who are out there trying this, we know that the first people to come against us is our own families. Right. We know that your mom don't believe you. Your dad thinks you're crazy. Your sister doesn't want to see you. You're in the street. If you're in the street and your sister sees you, she's going to cross the street. Oh, here comes that crazy motherfucker right there, man. Your older brother, bro, he's like, man, stop that. Just, you know what I'm saying? And then your younger brother's like, man, you need to go to church. Right. You know what I mean? So always something about it that, we all know that we're the ones that stand out. We're the sore thumb. We're the black sheep. And it's always good to be a black sheep. I hate to be a white sheep. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to be the black sheep. But what we got to do is, since we can't change our immediate family, what we can do for them is pray. You know what I'm saying? As we work in this truth, as we carry this truth, what is that? 1 John, for I have chosen you. You have not chosen me. That you go out and bring forth fruit, that whatever you may ask for will be given to you in his name. So we're going to go out there, man. We're going to do this work. We're going to pray the Lord forgive our families, man, for being wicked, man, for being like that. You know what I'm saying? That he may have mercy on them. Right. And what's that mercy? Well, Most High in Christ, and Lord help us, man, that we become part of the 144. All my brothers in the I.S.U.P.K. and sisters, you know what I mean? And that multitude that's coming behind us, that the Bible speaks about, well, let that be our parents and our brothers and our cousins and the people that we love that we're going to pray for. Lord, I know he ain't going to be 144, but hey, at least let him be in the multitude. And let me tell you something, don't get it wrong. Man, I prefer to be in the multitude than not being at all. Right. Like, get me in the back door. Like, I'll come in last if possible, as long as I make it. You know what I'm saying? Because the last thing you want to hear is, away from me, because I did not know you. Man, that's the last word you ever want to hear. You know what I'm saying?
It's a nice, if I can add. It's one thing, right? When we first come into the truth, when we first, come to the UPK, the first thing we want to do is we want to bring all our relatives in, all our friends in, you know. But as you in here, as the years go by and you learn more and more and you gain more wisdom, you understand why they're not in here, man. You understand what the generals, what the men above mean when they say this truth isn't for everybody. So I understand why people don't come in here. I understand why, you know what I mean? It's a lot to handle, man. It's a very heavy burden to know the things you know in here and then to see it happening out there.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So yeah, if this ain't for you, man, don't come in here. We don't want everybody. We're not the Christian church, man.
Right, absolutely.
We're not taking everybody and anyone in, man. We'll take in the brother or sister who wants to be in here, who knows what they're up against, man. Who's ready to make that sacrifice? Who's really about their people, man? That's who we want in here. We want people that got, you know, that live by honor, that are dependable, that are reliable, man. That's who we want in here. We don't want everybody in here, man. So, you know, for all these people out there making all these claims against the UPK and whatnot, man, just know, man, we don't want you in here, man. You ain't gotta come in here. We're not here to force this on anyone. That's another thing, man. Like if you don't agree with this, if you're not rocking with this, you're free to go do whatever you want to do, man. But we're not forcing the crown on nobody's head, man. You go do you, live wickedly, live however you want to live, man. Live your best life.
Right.
You know what I mean? But just know that when something bad happens to you, God did it. God was the one who you know put that judgment on you because you don't want to listen to us. You don't want to hear us out. You want to do what you want to do. Just know it. You know, actually, you know, actions have consequences, man. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. And more importantly, man, you got to think about it, man. You over here celebrating a Thanksgiving Day and, you know, supposedly a God-given day, you know, where God is here and God's at the table and this nonsense and that nonsense. And why would God be with a nation that's built on blood? Isn't that what it says?
Right. Woe to him that built the town with blood.
That woe to a nation. That woe to him that built the town with blood. America is built on blood. America is built on the death of Native American Indians.
So like, if I could, I want to say this. A lot of y'all out there know that America is modern day Babylon. A lot of y'all call it that. You know where the Lord stands with Babylon in the Bible. So how could you believe that the Lord will be with America?
Absolutely. And let me tell you something. That, you know, this is the test right here. The test is these days right here. These are the tests for those that call themselves Israelite. If you got a name like Issachar or Yehuda, right, or Benjamin, or any name that you use, or if you're in the sense of believing that you're an Israelite, man, let me even get out of there. If you love God, if you believe in a God, if you believe in Christ Almighty, then you should understand that celebrating these holidays is not of the Lord.
Right.
And it's not of common sense. Let me even go further. It's not something that someone in their right mind would do.
Right.
If you think that you're smart, but yet you celebrate these holidays, then you're not as smart as you think you are. What you're doing is you're just being part of the crowd. Right. You might as well, if you hate, well, if you celebrate the holidays, you might as well be part of the LGBT.
Sir.
If you celebrate the holidays, you might as well be with Black Lives Matter.
Right.
You might as well be with the LGBTQ. You might as well be part of that. You might as well be with the KKK. You might as well be part of everything that's twisted, that just doesn't make sense. You might as well be part of that because celebrating the holidays just doesn't make sense.
Right.
Celebrating Thanksgiving, if you really think about it historically, just doesn't make sense. How are you going to celebrate a day that commemorates the death and destruction and the atrocities of a nation of people who showed love and in return got murdered?
Right.
Got put in the boarding schools. Like, the history that these people go through is continual throughout every single generation of theirs.
Man.
Like it's like no generation has been able to come up and breathe for it to say. None of them have been able to do that. None of them have been able to come up and say, well, okay, now we've learned, now we've separated. The black man has never come up to breathe in America. You've been drowned in America. Man, you already went and fought in World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korean War, man, all these wars. And yet you look at America and the black man's situation, and it's still making the news. And common sense tells us, man, poor black people, we still see it and we're like, man, I can't believe, man, we still got to go, man, they still marching. Put it that way. They still marching. You still got to go out and march because you know that it's injustice.
Right.
You know that it's not right. A sense in you tells you, man, this that's happening to these people, the black people in America, is just not right. Me as a Hispanic brother, I see, man, what's happening to these people, the Hispanic people, is just not right. How do you have these people in cages?
Right.
Think about it. Do you think those kids are going to celebrate so-called Thanksgiving?
Right.
Hell no. Do you think that the border agent that's in there, who just so happens to be Mexican, is going to say, like, Happy Thanksgiving, guys?
No, they will.
I'm going to let you guys out. Yeah, to mock them, but not to say, hey, I'm going to let you guys out. Go ahead and be with your families. You know, it's a moment of them being with their families. Go ahead. They're going to be with their families. All of them are going to be with their families. They're going to gather around their tables. They're going to celebrate. They're out there right now at the Costco trying to get the biggest, fattest turkey they can find. Getting all the pumpkin pie and apple pie and corn and Kool-Aid and wine and champagne. And they're getting their tables ready. They're getting their homes ready. They're decorating their homes. Their wives are cooking. They're going to gather their kids together, their families. They're waiting for their uncles and aunts. And you know what? They see the children in the detention centers, and to them, that means nothing. These are heartless individuals that have no compassion, no care, no love for anybody else. But you know what they do have love for? The goddamn holiday.
Right.
That's what they do have love for. They have love for Thanksgiving. They want to make sure that they're going to go buy a new tablecloth. Their wife is going to be like, I got to get a new tablecloth. I got to get new plates. I got to get new spoons. I'm going to bring out the best silverware. You know, I'm going to make sure that the turkey is cooked to perfection. I'm going to cook it for 2 days. I'm going to brine it. I'm going to do everything that it takes to make a great meal. And yet, at the detention centers, these children are freezing, dying, malnutrition, dying, crying for their families. The people in the ghettos are doing the same thing. The Native American Indian, they're not going to celebrate this day. They're going to shun this day. You know why? Because they have an understanding of what it really is. So
I just want to say that, man, that was heavy what you brought out, sir. Because they're going to do all that. Like you said, they're going to buy the fattest turkey. They're going to buy all the silverware. They're going to buy the desserts. They're going to buy the drinks. They're going to get all these decorations and try to make it all nice. And you know what's going to happen once they all finally get together to eat out one? They're going to start fighting each other. Absolutely. They're going to start arguing with each other. Someone's going to get hurt. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to get stabbed. Something bad is going to happen. You did all that hard work to have that nice Thanksgiving dinner. And you know what? I always wondered too, man, in the world, man, like when I was in the world and you know, I had white classmates, they would always tell me about their Thanksgiving and how they would get together and it would be a happy family time for them. But I noticed that when it was with my family, every time we got around together for the Thanksgiving, we all fought. It was chaos. Now being in the truth, I understand why, man. Because we're not supposed to be celebrating that day, man. It's got a bad spirit on us. Them oppressors can celebrate because they're celebrating their supposed victory over our people. That's what it is for them. So they got the good spirit on them. But for us, it's bad because it represents something horrible to us. And it represents oppression to us. Right. So of course, when we do it, we and the issue is what you also brought out about, you know, you might as well be part of the LGBTQ to celebrate those holidays. All right, I don't want. You really want to be American. is what you really want to be
Right.
when you celebrate these holidays. That's all it is, man, is you trying to chase that American dream. But here's the reality, brown man, black man, and woman. Their American dream is our nightmare.
Absolutely. Damn right. And let me tell you something, man. For Hispanic people, man, Thanksgiving has a whole different meaning now. You know, I'm going to let you in a little family secret. And it's not only my family secret, but it's all Hispanic brothers and sisters' family secret. And if you're Hispanic, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like that day, you know, when you're about to have Thanksgiving and your dad's inviting his side of the family and your mom's inviting her side of the family, you know, the emotional women are always like, oh man, your tia Maria is gonna come in.
Right.
That bitch. She's gonna come over here. She's gonna talk all this shit. You know, your mom is cleaning the plates extra good because Tia Maria, bro, she's looking at everything.
Right.
Because she's waiting. You know what Maria's waiting for? She's waiting for the end because the next day she's going to be calling everybody. You know what? Did you see her fucking curtains?
Right.
Did you see what she was wearing? Did you see her fucking carpet? Did you see how dirty her man, those sofas? She's had those same sofas for the last 3 years.
Right.
You know, this is the family thing right there. This is how Mexicans take it in, you know.
Right.
And they're going to be there. They're going to be looking. They're going to be like, her food was nasty. Who taught her how to make that food? I bet you. And, you know, she's going to eat the mashed potatoes. And you know what they're going to say the next day? You know, she bought those already made. You know, she already bought those made. The vegetables were soggy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
you know she bought that corn at Food for Less. You know what I mean? That shit was not fresh. You know what I mean? That's the Mexican side. And for us men, we don't give a damn. We're gonna get drunk.
Right.
That's the problem. That we're gonna go to this thing and we don't really care about eating. We care about drinking.
Right.
We're like, oh man, he better have beer. He better not have that goddamn Schlitz. Or he better not have that, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Don't let him have Pabst Blue Ribbon, bro. Don't let me go to your house and have Pabst Blue Ribbon waiting for me. You better have either Bud Light or some Coronas. Because if you got that Pabst Blue Ribbon, forget it, bro. Gossip City tomorrow. And then we don't even get to the gossip. You know why? Because by the end of the night, the males are drunk as hell. They're gonna fight. Someone's gonna get knocked out.
Somebody's gonna get stabbed.
Someone's gonna get stabbed. You know, we're gonna fight because why? We're gonna get drunk. And you remember last year, fool? Oh, you now talk your shit on me now. What? You know? I heard this. I heard that. Look at your son. This is what Thanksgiving brings to the Mexican table right there. That's the Mexican Thanksgiving. The gossip the next day, y los chingadazos for sure. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing ever right at Thanksgiving for Mexican families, bro, because that's not our holiday.
Right.
Because it's wicked. You know what I'm saying? And you know it's true. Mexicans, you know it's true.
Right.
You know that your mom be talking shit all the time. You know your aunt be talking shit all the time.
Right.
You know that all that's going to go on there is nothing but what's been brewing for the whole year.
Right.
And next year is going to be the whole same thing all over again. That's why, you know what? I prefer not to go.
And how about what's even more dark is that you're calling over that uncle that molested your son, and you're going to have him sitting at the same table on that day, man.
Damn.
That uncle that molested your son or your daughter, you're going to have him in that room. Meanwhile, you know, your kids were telling you about that uncle, and you didn't believe. You're going to have them in the same room to celebrate Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what we should be doing is teaching our children not to celebrate these things. What we should be doing is teaching our children that, you know what, there's a moral law that we should live by. And the moral law is that if our brothers or our sisters have been damaged in some way, then we should look out for them.
Right.
We should be with them. We should join in mourning with them. We should show honor to them. And you know who we should show honor to? Those that have been robbed, raped, and murdered. Those that are God's chosen people.
That's right.
Because that's where we're at now. We're in a time where now history tells us who we are. Come on, man. You don't know that you Aztec, Mayan, Chichimeca, you know, Purupeche, you know what I'm saying? Native American Indian, you know, you a true black brother, a Judite, you know what I'm saying? You from the bloodline of kings, you know, that's us. So why do we have to come and celebrate these holidays that aren't us? Why do we have to hang on to the string of a wicked nation that hates us? Because that's what we do, man. We hold on by a string. That's all they give us. And yet we want to be here. We want to celebrate. We want to be part of this nation that has never loved us, man. Come on, it's time that what we got to do is we got to wake up to the reality that these nations have no love for us, have no care for us. And you celebrating at that table, man, is wicked as it comes. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, when I'm out there at camp, man, I always say, man, the white man should be sitting at that table, right? They can sit there. I'm gonna tell you something. They have every right to sit at that table.
Right.
They can celebrate Thanksgiving. I never tell a white man you shouldn't be celebrating Thanksgiving. On the contrary, I tell them you should be celebrating Thanksgiving. Right. That's your holiday.
Right.
That's your day. That's the day of your victory.
Right.
You should be celebrating that. That is righteous for you to do, or at least in line for you to do, right? Because let me tell you something. The day that the Lord wipes out the white man off the face of the earth, I'm going to be celebrating.
Goddamn right.
I'm going to be having a table full of everything I can find.
Right.
And I'm going to celebrate the destruction of a nation that hated us,
right?
That robbed us, that murdered us. I am going to celebrate that day. I'm going to give, man, I'm going to drink up that day. I'm going to get drunk off honor that day came, that the Lord destroyed this place. So you know what? They should be doing that. They should be celebrating. The ones that are in error here are Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. Listen very well, because you're the one that has the problem. You're the one that's in error. You're the one that's committing a real crime, that is celebrating these holidays that don't belong to us. Man, how many videos do I have to show? What is that brother that the one brother that logged in talking about who gave you the right to show that video? You know what I'm saying? I showed a video of the atrocities that were being committed, right, at the boarding schools for the Native American Indians, right? I was showing this video, and a Hispanic brother came up against me because I was showing this video, saying that I shouldn't be showing this video. You know what? That is the problem with Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. That is the problem with our people, that we get offended because we show the atrocities that are being committed on our people. But yet we want to sit at the table and celebrate and cut through a turkey that is an abomination, you know, because that's a sacrificial bird for this day. And they want to sit there and celebrate. That brother right there, that lost brother right there, tomorrow he'll be sitting at the table with his family celebrating Thanksgiving. And yet he got mad at me because I was showing the video of the atrocities that were committed on my Native American Indian brothers in the boarding schools of America. And you want to come against me for showing these things. You want to come against me for speaking up for my brothers, those that can't, those who don't have a voice, those who are not able to speak, those who don't have words to speak about it. But you know what? I do have words. I am able to speak. I've been chosen by the Most High. And how do I know that? Because I am in the I.S.U.P.K. And the Lord has called me into here to speak these words, to be able to talk about what happened to my people. And you know what? That's what we do here. And there ain't no goddamn way that I'll be celebrating any holidays. And in return, I speak these things for that those that listen can have strength. Because let me tell you something. Even though you're in this truth, I understand how difficult it is with our families. I understand how difficult it is when your wife's family is telling her, how come he doesn't come and celebrate with us? How come he's not here at the table? What kind of man did you get? What's going on? What is he leading you? What hole is he leading you down? You know what I'm saying? Why is he not honoring with all of us? You know, well, let me tell you something. What we need is strength. What we need is power. And may these words that we speak today, may this lesson give you power. And you know how we get power? By speaking of the atrocities that were committed on our people. By speaking truth. By saying, man, you know what? Let me tell you something. I'm going to stand by my brothers, man. I'm going to stand by my people, and I will not celebrate these holidays. There's a holiday coming up on Sunday. Let me see you invite your mother-in-law to the holiday. Let me see you invite your father-in-law to that holiday. Invite your brother, your sister, your aunt, that aunt, Tia Maria, that's going to talk all that shit. Invite her over to the Sunday holiday, to the high holy day. I'll tell you what, they'll get mad at you because you didn't go to their holiday, their Thanksgiving holiday meal, but they'll shun your high holy day. They'll say that your high holy day is not real. And they'll make fun of you because you went on Sunday to celebrate, what is that? The feast of
dedication.
Dedication. You know what I'm saying? And yet these same families are the ones that say that they believe in God, that they believe in the Bible, that, you know, that they believe in Christ, and, you know, oh, they're the ones that tell you, you know, oh, you know what, the God loves, and they're the ones that are going to celebrate Christmas. And when you tell them, you know what, Christmas ain't really real, they'll tell you, well, that was Jesus Christ's birthday. And that's when the baby Jesus and the blood of Christ. And for Mexicans, they'll be like, El Niño Dios, y Santo Niño de Antorcha, and all these saints and everything. And they're the ones that pray all the time. And yet when you tell them, you know, let me open up the Bible and show you this feast of dedication, which is the true high holy day that the Lord expects us to keep. And you know what? They won't show up on that Sunday. You invite them, come on, come down to the school. Let's come and celebrate with me, Mom. Come celebrate with me, Pops. Come celebrate me, sister, brother. Come with me, man. Do this for me today. You know what? They won't go. They'll look at you like you crazy. They'll look at you like you make no sense. But yet tomorrow, they'll be mad at you because you didn't go to that Thanksgiving Day table. They'll be mad at you because you couldn't make it to their family reunion, because they got to get together on Thanksgiving, because it's an important day in America. It's a very important day. They give you holidays. They give you paid vacation. Hey, I got paid vacation. Paid vacation because it's an important day in America. Of course it's an important day in America. It has to be. It's the day that they robbed, raped, and murdered and destroyed the Native American Indian. It's their day to celebrate of their victory of robbing and stealing and pillaging and destroying this place. It's their day. You know what I'm saying? It's their high holy day. Their most generous day. You know why? Because to them, this is the day that they remember the most. The day they were able to wipe out the Native American Indian. They'll celebrate the Trail of Tears, right?
Right.
They'll celebrate the taking of what is that? North Dakota and South Dakota, the sacred land of the Native American Indian. You know what I'm saying? They'll celebrate these days. They'll celebrate the massacre of what is that? Man, what is the name of that massacre of? It passes me by.
Trail of Tears.
There's a massacre.
Native American about.
Yeah, but you know what? They'll celebrate these days. Those are their days to celebrate. You know what? They'll celebrate Columbus when he came over and wiped out the Arawak Indian, the Taino Indian. Those are the days they're going to celebrate. They're going to celebrate, what's his name? The guy from the missions in America, Junipero Serra. They'll celebrate the day of Junipero Serra. If you don't know who Junipero Serra is, Junipero Serra was a Catholic priest who was the one who started the missions. And the mission was exactly that, a mission to destroy Mexican Indians by bringing them into those missions, cutting their hair, taking their language, and murdering the elderly and the men, and keeping the women and the children, and raising them up as Catholics.
Right.
To this day, we're poisoned with that same Junipero Serra, what is that? His mission. And that's why you have those missions. And in return, they tell you in school, build a mission. Because that mission is, almost a third of your grade or a fourth of your grade. And if you build a great mission, you're going to get a great grade this semester.
If I could ask something, man, can you believe that? They really had our kid. Man, I had to build a goddamn mission, man. Going to school and whatnot. Can you imagine the outrage and the anger if a public school would have Jewish children build concentration camps?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine that? If they were to have Japanese kids build internment camps.
Right.
But they're going to have us build missions.
Right, God.
What in the hell, man?
God.
Damn this goddamn oppressor.
Right. But you know what happens? You know whose fault it is? It's our fault. And I will tell you something, man. My boy Yaika Emmett says that his mom is mad at him. You know what? I'm mad at my mom. I'm mad at my dad. You know why? Because they didn't tell me the truth. Because they didn't show me the real meaning of what this was all about. Because they didn't take the time to study themselves. They didn't take the time. They were so smart, but why weren't you smart enough to see behind the lies, beyond all this that was telling that you made me learn? You know what I'm saying? It took me to really find myself out of this. You know why? I'll tell you why, man. Our parents didn't teach us any of this because it wasn't their time. You know what? It's our time. We're a generation. It's our time. We all of us in this appointed time, man. This is our place. We are the ones that have been chosen. We are the ones we've been waiting for to tell the truth. We are the ones that are expected to come in at a certain time in history to wake up the dead, to wake up those who have been living a lie throughout every single decade in this land called America.
Right.
We're the ones who were chosen to wake up a chain of generations of children that they might not be educated in lies anymore. We're the ones who have been chosen. We're the ones who are here. We're the ones who are taking on this task. You know what I'm saying? We are the chosen few that have been picked out of every generation to speak these words. That's why we have to continue these classes. That's why we have to break this chain of celebrating these days. What is it? The falling away, like we started on this show. We are those that are going to teach the falling away.
So like, I don't know if I can add, you know what the falling away translates to, sir, if I could?
Go ahead.
Decolonizing.
Absolutely.
That's what the falling away means, man. For you know, people want to say the Bible's not our story, man. There's an example of decolonization right there.
Absolutely. We are going to fall away from religion. We are going to fall away from these politics. We are going to fall away from this history. We are going to fall away from these traditions. And when we fall away from these things, it's a good thing. Why would you want to be part of a political party that is for LGBT, for the immorality of men and women? Why would you want to be part of a political movement like that? A political movement who pushes, poverty, who pushes gentrification, who pushes these things on our people, who pushes, feminizing Black and Hispanics and Native American Indians. Why would you want to be part of a political party like that? A party who doesn't care about us. How about religion? Why would you want to be part of a religion that tells lies, that rapes children, that molests kids, that takes your money, that lies to you and sleeps with your wife? Why would you want to be part of that? Why would you want to be part of a religious party that tells you that your God is white, that your angels are white, that heaven is going to be all white? Why would you want to be part of a religious party like that? A religious party that tells you that being homosexual is okay, that God loves you that way. Why would you want to be part of a party like that? A party that was a party that was raised on hate for Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Because that's what that religion is. It's hate towards our people. Always has been. Why would you want to be part of a nation that has hated your people all forever, for every generation? Why would you want to be part of that? This is what this awakening is. This awakening is about realizing that you live in a nation that every aspect of its traditions, religion, political parties, economics, and everything is all about against hatred against your people. Why would you want to be part of that? Common sense, man. Common sense. When will you use common sense and realize that this is not your, not your resting place? This is not your rest. This is not your place. This is not where you belong. Every time you go out, man, you're criticized. Every time you go out, you're looked at as less. Every time that they see you, you're just not that person. Look, Lincoln Heights, I'm talking my neighborhood. Lincoln Heights being gentrified. At this very moment, they're knocking down a whole, well, for 2022, they're going to knock down a whole 2 blocks to build a new complex there. And that complex has, I think it's like 61 bedroom apartments.
Nice,
it's got like 80, what is that? 80, what are those units called? Like single units, no, single units where people live in a single
family home,
single family apartment. What are they called? Studio apartments, exactly. The water studio apartments, and they're gonna have only like 4 or 5 3-bedroom apartments, and everything at the bottom is gonna be storefronts. Do you know what Lincoln Heights is? It's all Hispanic people, all raza. You know how raza lives? We live as a group. I got 3 brothers, 2 sisters. I got a mom, I got a dad. My uncle stays with me. My dad stays with me. Man, we're a family unit. Do you think they're going to rent any of those places to our people? Man, you got to be joking me. Those places aren't being built for us. They're saying, oh, it's going to improve the community. How the hell is it going to improve my family? How the hell is it going to, they're buying the homes from people that live there now, who live as family units. And they're not paying them, what, $600,000 for a house today in California? $700,000? Because if you go to Highland Park, those houses are super expensive. You try to buy a house in Highland Park, it's $800,000, $700,000, $600,000. You don't buy homes for $500,000 no more there. And that was all once a Hispanic community. And now it's all white community. And now they've taken over.
That's what they mean by improving the community. Man, that's why we say, man, the words out of his mouth are smoother than butter, man. Because they're saying that by them moving in, they're going to improve the community. Man. Right. Saying they're really trying to say that you bring the community down. These oppressors act like they got the highest standard of morals and they make everything so right and great, man. God damn these oppressors, man. I pray God puts them to death, man.
Right.
May God bring out a strain of COVID that only targets oppressors, man.
Damn right.
Put them on ventilators.
Absolutely. And let me tell you something. That Lincoln Heights project is gonna gentrify that neighborhood. And a lot of those families that are generations living there will no longer have a place to move to. They're not gonna move. They're not gonna buy a house in LA. Come on, man. Be real.
Right.
You're not buying a house in LA with what they're going to give you. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna take the houses under eminent domain, improvement for the neighborhood, and they're going to take it under eminent domain and give them nothing. Those families are going to have to move out to where? Victorville, right? Palmdale, Lancaster, right? They'll be lucky to move anywhere in LA. And those are, a lot of them are the majority are low-income Hispanic families. And you know why they do it? They do it because they can push us out of the areas. Right. And we're losing our homes. We're losing our areas. We're losing our beautiful communities that were once all Hispanic communities. And people will tell you, man, well, you know, it's what is that? Infested by gangs and stuff like that. So what? There are goddamn gangs.
Right.
They're infested by your people. You know what I'm saying? By white people that go and shoot up schools. Right. Damn it. Shoot up malls. You know what I'm saying? Shoot up airports. You know what I'm saying? They do the same goddamn thing in the masses. At least our people, we're just shooting my neighbor, damn it. You know, that other gangbanger, 2 or 3 of them. But they go in and they take mass murders, man. They eating people, goddamn it. You know what I'm saying?
Our people kill each other because they're copying you devils, man.
Right.
They're copying your gang. That gang lifestyle, that gang, you know, gang banging culture that y'all want to demonize my raza with, that comes from you white people, man.
Right.
Y'all did the original gang members and gang bangers and all that, man. The Irish, the Jewish, the Italians. Y'all were the ones doing drive-bys and being drug lords and destroying the neighborhoods of my people. And then have the nerve today to try to say that we're ghetto, we're this, we're that, and we bring down the property value of a neighborhood.
Right. And
go ahead,
and I'm going to tell you something, you know, because I know a lot of people say that. You know, the gangs. And I'll tell you whose fault it is. The gangs and everything, I'll tell you whose fault it is. It's your fault. If your son is a gangbanger, it's your fault. If your neighborhood school is gang infested, it's your fault. If your children are out on the streets at night and doing drugs and everything, man, it's your fault. You know why? Because you choose to teach your children lies.
Right.
You choose to have your children at a table celebrating Thanksgiving, eating this food. Man, it's your goddamn fault.
Right.
It's your fault for not coming and telling your kids the truth about life in itself.
Right.
History in itself, about how Black and Hispanics and Native American Indians have a common enemy. It's your fault.
Right.
Because our neighborhoods are destroyed not because of the children, but because of you. Because you chose to think that, oh man, you know what? It's a product of our environment. It is a product of our environment. Life is a product of our environment. Our environment was created by America. They put us in the ghettos. They put us in the barrios. They put us in the housing projects. They put us in these areas. We lived in a community called La Loma. We lived in a community called Palo Verde.
Right.
We lived in a community called Chavez Ravine.
Right.
And we had a good community. And they came in and leveled our area and built a stadium. And in return, they put us into the housing projects. They promised us good homes and a good area. And what they gave us in return was a housing project. They told you that you were going to go fight a war for the freedom of America. And you went to Vietnam. And you went to Korea. And you went to World War II. And you know what freedom you got? You got the freedom to come back to the ghettos of America.
Right.
You had the freedom to come back to the barrios and the housing projects of America.
Right.
That's what you came back to. That's what they lined you up for. While they came back to live in their white picket fence homes, you came back to live in East LA. You came back to live in the East Side where they deemed it less than. Beautiful East Side. I'm going to tell you, I got nothing against East Los, Boyle Heights, Monte, or any area. I don't. What I do have against is that they would redline us and put us on a border. And let me tell you something, you must not understand how they did not give money for the helping of the rebuilding of homes or the funding or the lending of money for you could fix your house. They didn't do that to Hispanics or Blacks. They give white people money to fix their homes. Then when your home is run down, you can get a loan from the bank. But when Mexicans used to try to get a loan, they'd be like, you know what? You don't qualify. Black people, you don't qualify. Native American Indian, you don't qualify. You never qualified, but they qualified.
Right.
They qualified to make their neighborhoods beautiful, but you never qualified. If you think about Lincoln Heights and Highland Park, why do those neighborhoods look like that? Because those people never qualified. But now that white people live there, they're qualified to make those areas look beautiful. Now you go into those areas and they look fantastic. And you're thinking, well, it's because white people moved in. Hell no. It's because white people qualified to make their neighborhoods more beautiful. You Black man, you Hispanic man, you Native American Indian man, you don't qualify. You don't qualify for nothing.
So, like, if I could, that's heavy you bring that out, sir, because I always wondered that as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up in my house and whatnot. Our house was run down.
Right.
And my father, you know, like, may he rise again, tried to put as much money as he could to fix the house up, but he never could get it done, man. He could never raise up enough money to fix the issues that were wrong with the house, man.
Gone.
Now it makes sense as to why he was never able to. And it had nothing to do with him not working hard enough. Him not, being, lazy as they'll try to say, man. It's because you devils deny us the resources to fix our neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
Up, to fix our houses up, man.
Absolutely.
We're not in this state because we're not hardworking or we're lazy, man. It's because America oppresses us, man.
Absolutely. And you know what? The problem with us is that we don't see the big picture. Us as Hispanic people, you know what? And I love my Hispanic people. Don't get me wrong, man. I love my Hispanic people. And we're hardworking people. You know what they say? Hard work pays. Well, that's a goddamn lie.
Right.
Hard work does not pay. You know what pays? Having good credit pays.
Right.
That's what pays. Getting yourself good credit, now that pays. Being white, now that pays. There you go. Now that's going to pay. But you ain't going to, you know what? Working hard doesn't pay. I know people who have 2 jobs. And little by little, they try to fix their home. Little by little, they're putting up a wall. Little by little. I know from a fact from my pops, because my pops got a house when he could, and he used to do all the work himself. He used to do all the work. And you know what? The white neighbors, because eventually the Hispanic neighbor moved out and a white neighbor moved in. And oh man, that goddamn neighbor complained for everything. Oh, you put a brick wall up, it's too high. Oh, you know what? You're making too much noise. Your dog barks. Your air conditioner is too loud. Man, he'd always have some kind of goddamn complaint. You know, we can't live in the neighborhoods with them because you know what? All they do is cry. You know what? Even here in where we live today, we have the music up. Their goddamn white neighbor across the alley will come and say, "Well, your music is too loud." Oh no! And he went on to say that music. He didn't say your music. He said that music. We just so happen to be playing some banda, some rap, because that's their problem with us. That our culture is not accepted by them. Because our culture is too ghetto. Our culture is too Mexican, too black, too Native American Indian. You're not in their line. You know why? Because we're not the same people. Because we're not. You know what? I have a black neighbor. He don't give a damn.
Right.
Like, when we play music, he don't give a shit. He's like, okay, you know, we'll be up all guy. And then he plays music, and I'm like, okay, I like that song. You know, he'll be playing music. My neighbor in the front, he'll be playing music, Mexican music at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm asleep, and he's got his Mexican music bumping. In my thought, I'm like, oh, I like that song. It makes me sleep even better. I'm like, oh, I remember that. He's an older cat, and he's playing these old Pedro Infante and Jorge Negrete songs, and I'm hearing his music, and I'm like, oh, I remember that song, Eddie Gourmet, and I'm like, oh man, my mom used to play that song. So I listen to his music, and instead of me complaining, in my sense, I'm like, oh, I remember that music. That music is nice. You know, I love that music. Because he plays music that takes me back. You know why? Because black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, we're the same people.
Right.
My black neighbor will play Kool and the Gang. He'll be playing some old 70s music. And I'll be like, oh, hell yeah. Now I want to party because I love the music he plays, you know? So, you know, when we move into our neighborhoods, the feeling is always good, always welcome. Like, I love my neighbors when they're black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. But white people, they hate us, man.
Right.
They hate us, man. They don't like our way of life. They don't like what we do. They don't like the way we raise our children. They you know what they want us to do? Why aren't you just a good white Mexican?
Right.
Why don't you be more Mexican and then American?
So, you know? If I could, sir. They're not complaining about your music, brown man and black man. They're not complaining about your ghetto-ness. They're complaining about you being black and brown.
Absolutely.
They want you out of the neighborhood because they don't want you near them. Absolutely. It's got nothing to do with how you could be the most uncle is Tom, you know, whatever, and they gonna want you out still.
Absolutely. Man, so let me tell you something, man. We should understand that our job, our duty, man, knowing all this that we're speaking about, our duty is, you know what? We're struggling. But let's struggle for a purpose.
Right.
What is that purpose? Let's struggle to change our kids. You know what? If we're gonna go through all this, if we're gonna speak about all this, if we're gonna go through this struggle, well, let's struggle for there can be a better outcome. Let the outcome be that our children understand the meaning of what it is to be black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. Let's struggle to make sure that our children are raised correctly, morally right. That they might understand that this history that they're learning is not our history. And that the way things are in America is not all, you know, roses and, you know, what I'm saying? All beautiful. Let's teach our children correctly. Let's raise our children to start being different, to start understanding that, you know what? Someone's going to speak. Let it be us. Let's raise our children to understand that these holidays, man, they ain't our holidays. And more importantly, let's teach our children that you're not missing nothing. You don't celebrate Thanksgiving? Well, most high in Christ. You don't celebrate Christmas? Well, most high in Christ. Let's teach them. Let's break that chain of ignorance that has been passed on through every generation so that our children can teach their children. And by the time it gets to the third generation, man, they won't even care about it no more. But right now, it's up to us. The falling away is in our hands, in the hands of all the brothers and sisters in the ISUPK. Falling away is in our hands right now, that we may teach our children to fall away from the religion, the politics, and the history of America. Let's fall away and let's teach them to fall away. And together, man, we're going to make our nation, Israel, a better place for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's really about. This Thanksgiving, man, don't think about yourself, man, and don't think about your family who can't fall away. Think about your children, your nephews, your the people close to you. Think about them and know that you're going to teach them how to fall away gracefully. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In strength. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're here for. Man, I'm going to cut it short. The water for everybody who watched us today. Most High in Christ. If you got any questions, we got a few minutes left at 27. We'll give it another 5 minutes before we get out of here. If you got any questions, man, go ahead and put them up. Man, the water, everybody, for joining us on the show today. As always, man, inconvenient truth. You know what I mean? Always out here telling this heavy, heavy truth, man. I'm going to be doing this forever, man. I love this work. The work that the Lord has put me to do in the ISUPK, man, Most High in Christ, for Commanding General Yahanna and all the brothers and sisters in the ISUPK who show support, who show love, and to help us get through this. Man, no matter what people say, man, we in the right spot.
Right.
This is it. Because here we teach our brothers and sisters and give them strength, and the same strength that we need. You got anything to say?
No, sir. I just want to bring out a precept right quick.
Go ahead.
Because this, like I said, people want to say that we're crazy for following the Bible and say that the Bible is the white man's book. But here's something, man. Here's proof. Here's a verse that shows that the Bible is our story, that this Bible is talking about us. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. What state are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people in right now, man? We can't even grow our own food, man. We got to go to this oppressor for everything, man. Our ancestors back then had everything stripped from them. The buffalo got wiped out, man. The corn got taken away by his conquistadors. You know what I'm saying? And then in the next verse, here's how you know this isn't. You know that this is not the white man's book. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Who you think that's talking about, man? That's not talking about, us. That's not about the white man coming over here and stealing, oppressing us. From what side did the oppressors come from, man? They came from another end of the earth. They came from Spain. They came from Europe. When they first landed over here, our indigenous ancestors did not understand the tongue of the conquistadors, of the settlers, man. They didn't understand Spanish or English. You know what I mean? And what's the symbol of America today? The eagle. What was the symbol of Spain? The eagle. All these European nations, right, had the eagle as their symbol, man.
Absolutely. Miguel Herrera, I know you asked me what was the year and how long did it last. What are you referring to? Let me know before I go so I can answer that for you. And go ahead and post it up, and I'll give you some insight on that. But absolutely, what Malakma is speaking on is absolutely true. These people came from a place that we never heard of, man. We never seen these people, and yet they came with a what? With continents, what is that? Fierce continents, and took over our people, took over our land, took over our Native American Indian brothers, bring our black brothers as slaves. It should all be relevant to us as Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that this is happening, man. Come on now. How long is it going to take for you to understand that we are all brothers, we all related, we got a common enemy. You know what I'm saying? And what we got to do is once again come together and rise up as a nation. Let me tell you something, man. When the Black Panthers, the Puerto Rican movement, the AIM, American Indian movement, and the Brown Berets and the Chicano movement in the 60s, we all rose up in the 60s. We all tried to make it work. But let me tell you, the problem was that we were not united. We were not as one. We each took our own role and tried to raise our people individually. You know what? It's very simple. The Lord told us we have the zeal, but we didn't have the knowledge. let me tell you, now we have the knowledge.
Right.
Now we have a knowledge that we're all one people, that we all have something in common, that we are oppressed by the same individual. And with this knowledge, that should give us a little bit of strength more than before, that we should come together and we should start, to begin with, let's get back to the Most High. Let's get back to God. Let's get back to that power. Let me tell you something. If you're Hispanic, if you haven't seen my classes, I tell you that Hispanics are written in the Bible. I prove to you that our people are named in the Bible by name. You can find us in the Bible. In the Old Testament, I can show you where we are. We are the Toltecs. We are Tola. We are these people. And so let me tell you something. That knowing that, wouldn't that make you more powerful? Wouldn't that knowing that the Most High, the Creator who created everything, has chosen you as a special woman, as a special man, as a special family? Everybody's trying to aim to be special. Well, here it is. Man, you're above every nation that's on the face of the earth. Why can't you grasp it? Why haven't you come to terms with the spiritual side of you, that you understand that, man, you are that special, that you ain't just a nobody, that you ain't just some being walking around with no sense. The Lord has you above everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And you should understand that means a lot. It means a lot to those white Jewish people.
Right.
It means a lot to them. The Lord says in the Bible, there's a precept that says, if the Lord had given this truth to any other nation, they would have got it, man. They would have been like, oh, what? I'm special? They would have took it and ran.
Right.
If he would have gave this truth to the Asians, man, you'd be on the feet of the Asians. If he'd have gave it to the Armenians, man, you'd be on the boot of the Armenians. The Bible says that. He says, but since he gave it to you, man.
Come
on, man.
That's exactly what's happening, because that's why they trying to call themselves spiritual Israelites and trying to get grafted in.
Absolutely. And yet you missed the boat, man. You missed that opportunity. You live in poverty. And you might say as a Hispanic people, because I know Hispanics, man, I'm yo soy raza. I'm live good. I'm good. I don't, about that. I got my car, I got my job. I'm good. But am I good? My people are bad. How am I good?
Right.
My children are in cages. How am I good? You know what I'm saying? There's people at the borders who are living in tents. How am I good? How are my people dying, and how am I good? In Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, my people are struggling to get out of a country that's under, civil war. How am I good? As a Salvadoreño, Guatemalteco, Hondureño, how am I good? How am I living there? I'll tell you how. When I begin not to care about my people. When I begin not to care what happens to the children, to my sister, to my brother, to my family, to my blood, to my spirit.
Right.
Then I begin not to care. Then, yeah, you're right. Then I'm not. Why? Because I'm lost. I'm lost in where? In a nation called America that's giving me the name of Salvadoranian American, Mexican American, Native American Indian, Black American. And the word American is a very simple phrase that helps you forget who you really are.
It's a lot, sir. What's heavy is that, before I came into the truth, like I always hated the term Latino and Hispanic, and I still do to this day. But now you made me aware of another one that I really hate the term Mexican American. Absolutely. Man, that is the most disgusting insult to my raza, to my people, to me, man.
Absolutely.
Don't ever call me no Mexican American, man.
Absolutely. I'm going to say I'm one of the first people who bring that out, right? I'm the one who teaches Mexican American. You got to be kidding me. Because you talk to any Mexicano and they'll say, oh, I'm Mexican American. Oh, I already got my green card. What is it? What is it? Oh, I already got my citizenship. I'm Mexican American. Ooh, they'll probably be Mexican American. Well, you know what? Screw Mexican American.
Right.
The hell with Mexican American.
The hell with America, man.
And no way I can be Mexican American. You know what I mean? It can't be. We got to separate. And this is the beginning of separation.
Right.
Don't celebrate that Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Decolonize.
Get yourself out of it. You know what? Tomorrow when they call you, hey, Mika, you're not going to come over?
Right.
Hey, Mika, you're not going to bring the kids? I have a plate for you. I got a table for you.
Right.
We got gifts for your kids.
Right.
Come on, we're not celebrating Thanksgiving. No, we're not going to celebrate. We're just having a family reunion.
While they're making turkey
and then you get there and they got turkey and the tablecloth has turkeys on it, and they got corn. They got a pumpkin. They got that horn thing with everything, fruit in it, la chingada, They got decorations, the whole decoration. Ay, mija, I got a turkey, They stuff it. They put the stuffing in it. Mom, why are you stuffing it? I stuffed the turkey, You know what I'm saying? You got to break that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to get rid of it, you know what I mean? And then the worst, you get down there like, Mom, hey, I'm here, and then she got the Christmas tree already up, the lights already at the door. Mom, you already got the Christmas tree lights up. Yeah. How'd you know? Because I went on Thanksgiving and I already saw you with that shit.
Right.
God, man. So
Good.
Really what we got to do is we got to separate, because you're going to go down to the Thanksgiving dinner and the first trap is your mom's already celebrating Christmas. Mom's Christmas is still like a month away. Yeah, mijo, but the ornaments are cheap right now.
Right.
They're going to run out. Right now the ornaments are running out. They said at Costco, all the trucks, all the, what are those, the crates in the middle of the ocean.
The containers?
The containers, the containers have all the Christmas stuff. They're getting expensive. Food for less.
I always wonder
doesn't
why.
have them right now.
You know what I'm saying? For, because working in retail and whatnot,
Yeah.
like I know every year they start the Christmas season earlier and earlier. All the Christmas shit comes in earlier and early. Like in September, you're getting Christmas stuff already. Now I see why.
Yeah,
they want you getting that spirit early.
And then you're walking up the driveway and she's still got something hanging, a little ghost on the tree. Mom, you still have a ghost on the tree. Oh, let's get Halloween. We still got the Halloween decoration. I forgot to take it down, So they're still taking off the decoration.
Right.
But, our goal is to break that whole tradition and go straight to the kill.
Right.
The following. We're falling away from all the traditions and the evil of America and its religion and its politics and its history. And where do we start? We start tomorrow.
Right.
You don't hesitate. And what do you start doing? You come to that whole high holy day on Sunday. If you're here in California, man, you used to travel all the way to Mexico for Christmas. Don't forget, your whole family packed that van, the station wagon, or the car, and drove all the way down to Mexico to go see your aunt on Christmas. La Navidad,
So, like, I just want to throw this out here, before we go. I put a challenge to any of y'all in the world tomorrow, man. See if any of y'all got the guts to do this, man. When you're getting served that turkey, that stuffing, the mashed potatoes, and the what is it, the cranberry and all that, man, I challenge you to pick that before, after y'all done got done doing that disgusting Christian prayer and everything. I challenge you to pick up that plate and throw it in the garbage in front of your family. Who has the courage to do that, man? I wonder if anybody out there has the courage to actually pick up that plate and throw it in the garbage and walk out of that kitchen and go to your room, man.
Absolutely.
And then throw on a UPK video.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of brothers, you're at the house, you got to put up with it. You got to see the celebration. You got to be there, man. We definitely understand. But you know what? If you're in the I.S.U.P.K, you always have a brother's house to go to.
Right.
That you don't have to be there. You can always walk away from it. But I understand how difficult it might be for those who still live at home and have to deal with the celebration. Or some of us who live in the family home.
At 7.
If we got class tomorrow at 7, you can always come down to San Bernardino and get away from it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a difficult thing. But you know what? It's a must that we do that. It's a must we separate at all costs from this place.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can always do what I do. I tell history at work. My white co-workers, I want to go home early. I just start talking about history. Okay, Jesse, go home. You go home early. And they'll send me home early. Why? Because they don't want to hear it.
Right.
But you know what? I want to thank everybody for watching the show. Of course, you know what I mean? The water for tuning in. It's always the inconvenient truth out of California. Don't forget, we got that high holy day coming up on Sunday, the Feast of Dedication. If you live in the California, LA area, we out in San Bernardino. Man, hit us up, messenger. We'll give you the address. Come on down. We're going to take food. I'm going to be there. I'm going to take my family. We're going to go hang out for a little while. You don't have to be there all day. Starts at sundown. Come on down, relax, chill with us, hear the story, get some food, chill out with us, man. Let's talk. Let's have a good time. you know what? I'm always in the spirit to get a little drink and celebrate, man. I'm always in the spirit. Take our little boombox down there. We'll have some music. We'll celebrate the way Israel celebrates.
Right.
So come on down and join us, man. Do it. Just do it. Do it once. And it might be a whole change in your life. You know what I mean? With that, I want to say tawada to everybody for joining and watching the show. Till next week, this is me and Malakma, right? Tawada for watching. Shalom, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Shad, Barakatah. Till next time.
Shalom, Israel. Let me go. Look at that feed.